Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you the really basic primitive kind of tools you need to be able to one, move, two, rotate, three, scale, and F to focus or center on your object. Very simple, but it does take a little bit of getting used to. So the first thing you want to do is I'm going to go to my modeling tab and go to my poly modeling, and I'm going to create, let's just do a sphere. Actually, you know what? I hit Control Z to undo, so that's a pretty useful little trick. I'm going to do a cube. The cube is right here. I'm going to hover over it, polygon cube, right in this section right here. So I created a cube. It creates it at what is called the origin. If you have your channel box open, if you don't, it is right here. Oh, it's this one, the one that looks like four little pieces of paper lined on top of each other, or three. Top right corner, just underneath that little lock button, to toggle it on. So this is your object that you just created, and your channel box shows you a lot of things. Your origin is 0, 0, 0 on X, Y, and Z. By default, it's going to have 0 rotation on X, Y, and Z, and your scale is always, unless you change it, which I'm going to show you here shortly, is going to be by default at 1 for X, Y, and Z. So with that being said, to quickly and easily access your move, rotate, and scale, now it's WER, and then to focus on your object, F, and it will focus on it depending on where your mouse is hovering over. So you'll see I just focused in on all of them just by tapping the F key, and you can see that in the bottom left hand corner. I have my little keyboard set up so you can see everything that I'm typing as I work. So I know I showed this in the other video, but holding Alt and left click allows you to rotate. Holding right click allows you to zoom in and out, and middle mouse button allows you to pan, and that's holding Alt on all of them. Okay, so just so you can see. Now, if I want to access my move tool, it's right here on the far left side. My rotate tool and my scale tool. Those are the only 3 tools I'm going to be covering in this video. So I'm going to tap W for move, E to rotate, and R to scale. Now you'll see you'll have all of these different little handles on it. Probably the most confusing one will be your E for rotate, but they're color coded. In the bottom left hand corner you'll see red is your X, unless yours may be different, but I doubt it. Blue is Z, excuse me, and green is Y. So I can tell red, green, blue which one I'm rotating on. So if I hover over the green one, you'll notice it changes to a subtle sort of orangey kind of color, and I can rotate on my y-axis, and you can see that up here in your channel box editor. On the blue axis, we know that's your Z, so you'll see it change in your Z. And then the red is your X, so it'll rotate on the X-axis. So you always know which axes you're rotating and scaling on. Now, same thing with the move tool, W, E, R. Those are the 3 tools you're going to be using. If you ever gamed on a keyboard before, you'll know like WASD is your, move forward, backward, left, and right. We're going to be focusing on W, E, and R. So W is your move tool. Also access it right over here, and you have the same thing going on here. Now, instead of showing you that blue one, you have this one here, but it's translating it on X and Y. This one will be the opposite, Y and Z. Now it changed colors for me. Oh, it's color coding the last tool I selected, so that's kind of neat. So I've got green, RGB, right? Red, green, blue. So as I was just mentioning, you can select any one of these handles and it'll move on whatever axes you want it to. So you'll see if I move it up on that green axis, it's going to translate it Y. If I move it on the X axis, it's going to be on that red handle, and then blue here. And then one really neat trick I like is that you'll see this square here in the middle with a little dot very hard to see on the screen, but you'll see it on your screen. If I hover over that little square, it'll move it on all three axes, which can be a little bit dangerous if you accidentally do that, but I'll show you as the semester goes on how to sort of work through that. Another cool little thing to mention is plus and minus will increase and decrease the handles of your tools. So if you're struggling because it's super small, holding or pressing plus will increase your handles. Okay, plus and minus, that's the plus and the minus key on the keyboard, as you can see in the bottom left hand corner. So that's really useful as well. Now the scale tool, tapping R, also located right here. It's like a square with a dotted line to a bigger square, and that's your scale tool. Same thing, red, green, blue. So if I want to scale it on this axis, it's going to scale on the Z. Red, it will be on the X, and then green will be on the Y. So now I've just scaled my object very quickly and easily. I just pressed Control Z 3 times to bring it back to where it was. Now, even if I didn't do that, by default, Maya's translates are X, Y, and Z. So let's just do this. And you're like, oh my God, I can't manage. And your tool might actually even be different. Where's my outliner? Windows, outliner. There it is. So in your tools setting, which is this little button here, show hide tool settings in the top right corner, displays or hides options for the current tool in the settings window. If yours is different, it might be because your axis orientation is under object or under world. Those are the only two we're gonna focus on all semester. So if it's under world, it's like really difficult to sort of get it right back. I want to get it back to normal. The fastest way would just be to delete it and create a new one. All right, now you're right back to where you started, but sometimes you get to a modeling project and you can't do that. So the easiest way to get this back is going up here under channel box, which is the top right corner, those three little squares overlapping each other. Reminds me of like three little pieces of paper, you know, something like that. But that'll show and hide your channel box. And again, you can, like your outliner or whatever, same thing on the right side. You can click and drag this right into your tools or whatever. Either side is fine. And it'll like pop up a little preview display kind of where it'll dock into. So that's called docking. Anyway, so I've got this object. Everything's kind of wacky, and I did this totally by accident. I can go translate X is 0, translate Y is 0, translate Z is 0, and then same thing for X, Y, and Z on rotate. And I want this to go back to the default size that I had it at. 1 by default will bring you right back to where you started. So anyway, just quick little tips to try to remember. I cover everything step by step in every single video I do, so it shouldn't be too hard to follow along with. You can also translate, rotate, and scale directly in the channel box. So let's just say you wanted this to be perfectly 90 degrees rotated, or negative 90 degrees, and now or let's just say negative 180, right, or 0. So you can rotate, and let's do 45 just so you can actually see it rotate. Or maybe I want it to be negative 45, right? Something like that, or negative 30, and then maybe positive 45. So anyway, that's how you can go ahead rotating and scaling just using the channel box. Now if you're wanted to scale and you wanted this to be 10 times as large, just type 10 for X, Y, and Z, and now you have a absolutely much larger cube than what you originally started with. So anyway, move, same thing. So if I'm on, I can do translate, 10, 5, and 3, and you'll see that it moves around for me. And again, you can bring this back to exactly how you wanted it. Boom. Now, visibility I'm just going to touch base on this in case you accidentally did what I did and the visibility turned off. 0 is off and you won't be able to see it nor select it. One reason why I like to keep my outliner open, I can click back on it and press 1 on visibility, and now I can see it. Again, that was Windows outliner, and I actually go into more detail on this in the first, I think it's the first lab on the bookcase, but I go over it a number of times in the videos. So anyway, if you are struggling with anything, you can't understand how these tools move, work, anything like that, just shoot me a message. I can easily go over this step by step with you, but I'm just gonna be showing you the same exact thing. WER. If your tools aren't working right, let me know. I've seen that happen once or twice with a improper install. So usually if things aren't working the way they're working in my video, you might need to uninstall and reinstall. I've had that happen before, and sometimes it's just like a weird setting that we need to change. But let me know if there's anything else I can do. Shoot me a message on Canvas inbox. And then I already showed this in the previous navigating the user interface, but I'm going to show it one more time. Holding Alt and left click allows you to rotate. Holding Alt and right click, zoom in and out, and middle mouse button is pan. Now, like I said in the previous video also, let's just say I'm really struggling to try, it does happen, I'm really struggling to try to get to this piece. Try to remember to tap the F button. I think it's short for focus, I'm not exactly sure, but it centers your camera directly on the object, and now you're right back to normal. So it's a really, really useful keyboard shortcut. Tap F on your keyboard, and it'll zoom you right in on that object. Other than that, I think I've covered everything I need to on this little video. Again, questions, just shoot me a message on Canvas inbox. I will respond as quickly as possible. But stay tuned for the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, have a good day. All right, bye.